Welcome to this edition of ONME Sunday Mornings. My name is Julia Dudley Najib, along with
Lennis Najib.
And today people might find it strange that we're standing, at least our backdrop is a hospital, and actually the emergency room. And people would know that African Americans are really in a state of emergency when it comes to health.
Yes, we notice now with the infancy rate, as we was talking about earlier, which is...
They don't even get to become infants, actually. This is the preterm birth labor rates.
Pretty much preterm, before the 9-month period of before birth. We're finding that African Americans are dying or not being...
Before that 37-week term.
Before this 37-week term.
And so that's becoming a disparity that we're going to talk about. That's from the March of Dimes. And being that this is an awareness month of that preterm birth rate, and March of Dimes is the one that put that report out. So we'll be discussing that. So this is more like our health edition. And, you know, normally we don't stand in front of hospitals.
Not at nighttime over here. So this is a little different episode here.
But it's an important episode is what we decided, because you said you came up with the idea of it being an emergency.
Yes, it is an emergency state right now. We're looking at all throughout California being at, I think they rank California at a B level, a B grade. And also,
we have to talk about those because we know that Fresno has a C rating. So we'll discuss what all that means later. We want to talk about the winter watering campaign and how that's important, because the city of Fresno is really making strides to make sure we hit that 28% reduction in water consumption.
Yes, I noticed now they looking at us not watering, period, no watering Monday through Fridays.
Right.
So I believe on an odd day, if I'm not mistaken, on an odd day it's on a
Well, I know we're even, we're Sundays, so the other day must be the Saturdays for the odd.
Okay. So Saturday's odd, Sunday's even, as far as watering, and it's once a week.
And what these numbers are what they came up with as far as Fresno's water consumption averaged 2.6 billion gallons in November over the past 10 years, while average monthly use in December, January, February averaged 2.2 billion gallons. And then also in the summer months, when we're looking at June, July, and August, Fresno's water use averaged almost 5 billion gallons a month.
That's quite a lot of water. And a lot of, they saying, we're trying to save every drop of water. When you're looking at your own household, you have to be very conservative and very watchful of the water usage in your house.
One thing that we can say is that since June 1st, we've saved roughly 7 billion gallons of water. And so looking at the city of Fresno, we need to prepare for the 5th straight year of drought, but also that the Fresno last year, I believe, was the second highest in reduction in water consumption.
That's correct. Yeah. And also, the main goal is we're trying to have a 28% as a state mandate, 28% reduction rate going into the next year, fiscal year. So that is very important for the city to maintain that.
And we also see the city of Clovis really taking strides to do the same thing. And we will be talking about that contest where you'll see the details there. Be a Zero Hero. That's a water conservation contest, and we'll be talking about that. And if you look on your screen there, you'll see some of the details that we have been talking about in regards to these water rates. So it's really important that we all do our part. People think we've had these winter rains, so we should be able to cheat a little bit.
Oh, they think they can flush the toilet a little more than normal.
Like 10 times a day versus the 2.
No, just joking. Yes, Zero Hero, that means no water. That means depending totally on the winter water as far as your watering, and be a hero from that zero.
And there still are those water cops out there. I just want to remind you, so beware of that. We also want to talk about our myonme.com. Our myonme.com is a website where you can get the information from all of the different African American outlets from throughout the Central Valley if you want to know the news that's happening in and around your area. And so we are adding to that as we speak. In fact, we're going to be watching an excerpt of Kevin Sheikh Shakir, who highlights a lot of those entertainers from throughout the Central Valley and also throughout California. And also we're going to see some excerpts of Valley Black Talk Radio Radio with myself, Mel Sanders, and Joel Riversmith. And that's a daily show that comes on at 6 p.m. And we have our ONME Network channel where you can just watch that linear player online, mobile, or even through a Roku device. So let's take a look at that excerpt.
English learner dollars that specifically go to a particular segment of our population. We have a problem on our side too. We need to broaden the base. Really so all of us can be a part of it. There's a whole lot of money directed to that. And boy, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, a bunch of folks just abandoned it. I mean, no, we don't want our kids learning how to speak. They already know how to speak like that. Exactly. What we're trying to do is give you some options to help them get beyond that so they can compete. The playing field is level. But, it was just
I very well remember that.
Oh, were you in the city during that time?
Because my aunt wrote I don't know if it was her dissertation or if it was just a paper that she published on Ebonics and the fact that it is a recognizable language. It's not, you might even call it a dialect of English.
It is.
But it's not just bad English. It's there. I mean, it has its roots. But it has its roots in African languages.
I think I seen Linus playing some dominoes, and I was thinking about joining that game. You tell me a little bit about Music and Paint.
Music and Paint is a series of events that we put together. And it's to showcase local artists and also local bands.
Local artists and local bands.
Correct, local bands. And our next show is actually November 20th at the Falls Event Center.
That this is going to be different. It has a different vibe. It has, like you said, grown folks were there. It's not always about the grown folks, but it's about having events that grown folks can participate, enjoy themselves, and not really worry about actually running into their children. Like I have every once in a while. I was like, hey, what are you doing here? Let me go ahead and
My baby girl.
Soul Motion. He's somewhere in the picture, but man, there's so many different so many different DJs to put it down. But we're gonna get to this video right now. Taz, why don't you introduce it?
Yeah, man. TAZ, Nothing on Me, produced by Bo School Productions. Check it out.
Right here on My Clip TV.
TAZ, back in the booth with Bo School Productions. If there's one thing I can guarantee, it's that he ain't got nothing on me. If there's one thing I can guarantee, it's that he ain't got nothing on me.
Anyway, my name is Beverly Green, Baby B, and I do have a new CD out, and it's called Modern Day Woman. And anyway, I have 6 songs on there. It's only $5. It's the second CD, so I'm getting ready to record another one. And this one has a spoken word on it.
I want to jump into our next video, which is Mr. Bizzle. It has a great message in it, and I really appreciate that message.
First off, praise to the Most High. Glory Yeshua, you are the ruler, it's in you that my hope lies. Faux God, no lie, no bite, I don't play both sides. Been sold out with the windows down, truth music blowing at the whip so loud you repent when I roll by. Got over money, my click if you with it, I know when you ride out. The whole world finna die out, why high now? 4th down in the 4th, no timeouts. Not in no upper room, do what you come to do, we ain't gon' hide out, ain't here to punish.
By Z Will, and he's got Thin Ice, so that's a wonderful video. We're gonna get that on right here on My Clip TV. So we're gonna go to that right now.
Got cracks in the concrete. Went on. Can't seem to find peace. Went on. But we're still trying to build though. Went on. Nobody wanna let go.
mind, you're intertwined with the empty. Lost in solitude like nobody seems to get me. That's gonna be filthy, but baby, I don't let them tempt me. Love is the drug I supply, keeping it trippy. Match made in heaven, we bonding 007. We on the same level, you taking strokes to the pelvis. The queen to my chalice, yin and yang with the balance. Lord knows we ain't royal, still creeping in the palace. You my bed piece, my third eye, my ride or die, Lord to the...
So we got a chance to take a look at that excerpt. That's the ONME Network, and we'll be adding programming as we go along. And the key thing is to be able to connect the different African American communities and people know what's going on, and also so that the greater community knows what's happening in the different African American communities, and also being able to communicate with those entities and communities, because I know we have a problem with outreach. You know, we've seen that.
One of the things is we have so much talent that's coming together at one conglomerate right there. If you're talented, you can sing, you can rap, you can perform. Be a part of that. Kevin Sheikh Shakir.
Right. And Valley Black Talk Radio covers all the news that's happening throughout the Central Valley. Of course, we have those nationwide topics that we do discuss and that are germane to Central Valley and also California overall. And the biggest thing that we have been talking about is politics. So stay tuned for more, because we will continue to talk about that. Meanwhile, we want to talk a little bit about the NASA. There's a space tidbit that you really wanted to discuss that's big news, and people may not think it's big news, but it really is big news, and it has to do with black holes.
One thing about this one here, this is 324 million light years away. And one of the discoveries are, usually in a black hole, things go in, nothing ever comes out. Now NASA discovered something that actually came out, which they have never seen before. Some coming out of a black hole, they said through 168,000 million light years of fast speed, nothing can escape a black hole, not even light. Now we're finding out, are they discovering that something coming out of a black hole, which has never been seen before.
So in the Milky Way galaxy, we have our black hole.
Well, this is a massive black hole. That's another thing that's ironic. It's like billions of suns goes into a massive black holes. So this is so ironic to see something actually coming out, and now that breaks the theory of black holes.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to be following this story closely to find out what else NASA has to say about black holes. And this is roughly, is it 324 million light years away that this particular black hole is? Or
no, yes, you're correct. It's 324 million light years away. So we ain't.
So we don't have to worry right now.
We ain't got to worry about something happening to us. But it's a long, long ways, and it bringing everything as far as our theory, as far as our understanding of black holes has changed.
So watch out, Star Trek, because some of that stuff might be real. So after the break, we want to talk about those different health disparities that are coming up and making sure that we are aware of that. And so we have the November, as far as Pancreatic Awareness Month. We have the American Diabetes Month. Again, that's also in November. We also have the Alzheimer's. So there's Alzheimer's Awareness Month for November as well. And looking at the birth term rate. I'll make sure I get that right. Preterm birth rates. And that's the first thing we'll be talking about right after the break. You're watching ONME Sunday Mornings. We'll be right back.
When you have credit card debt, the debt suckers' high rate and high pay are everywhere.
Ooh, they're making another minimum payment. Great. Most of the money goes to us. We'll suck the life out of them.
Because your credit card rates are so high, you can't get rid of the debt suckers alone.
Their minimum payments are in vain. No, that's juicy.
But one call to Consolidated Credit can get the debt suckers off your neck.
Thank you for calling Consolidated Credit.
Oh no, they'll lower his rates and consolidate his bills into one low payment. He'd pay off his debt in no time. Consolidated Credit drives us batty.
Call Consolidated Credit now. Call now and get your life back.
Oh, because debt sucks.
Call now.
Call Consolidated Credit at 1-800-810-0786. That's 1-800-810-0786. Call now.
And welcome back to ONME Sunday Mornings. My name is Julia Dudley Najib, along with
Lennis Najib.
We wanted to touch on what's happening with some of these different awareness in months, and the first one we want to talk about was a preterm birth rate. And you being the math person, I was talking about those numbers when it says that African, and this is from the March of Dimes.
Yes.
This is an official report, so this isn't something me or you made up.
No, we're looking at the birth rate, or it's called preterm birth rate, meaning before the infant becomes born, after the 9-term period. What is the premortal rate of them surviving?
So before that 37 weeks, they're dying.
Basically, before 37 weeks, they're passing away. So we want to look at the rate as it relate, or the disparities as it relate to white, Asian, and Hispanic. And we find that the African American is far, far exceeding every other gender, every other race.
They also talked about in this particular article how African American infants don't even make it to their first birthday, 2.5 times higher as far as the rate of not making it to their first birthday. So Central Valley cities among the highest preterm birth rates in California. And so the African American preterm birth rate is nearly 50% higher than whites.
Well, if you think about that, just in Fresno County, we only amount to about 8% of the population. So that is a huge, significant number compared to other genders, other races.
So looking at the numbers is just showing how there is that disparity. In fact, this article talks about the disparities, is where I wanted to really focus on that. And over the next few weeks, we will be going into detail about that. And then March of Dimes, the particular article that they refer to, also gave that report card, and so California is at a B rating when we're looking at that.
And you mentioned earlier that the city of Fresno is at a C rating.
Right.
So that is, as we noticed the numbers in that report card, that's 10.2% of the death rates, compared to in other areas as 7.8. In other areas, a 7.2, I guess, in other areas around. So we are a very high rate, and that's a very low report card grade in this city of Fresno.
As far as where these numbers come from, it came based on their 2013 preterm birth rates from all these different cities. And so Stockton also had the 10.2 and was at a C. Los Angeles was at a C as well. And looks like Oxnard was the one that really made out, if we look at all the major cities that did not have too bad of a rating, because they have an A rating with only 7.8%. Bakersfield had a C. So when we're looking at those major cities and at least the percentage of the rates, and they are wanting to really look at and we're going to be going over what are some preventive methods. One has to do with smoking. One has to do with keeping the correct weight when you do have a child to help prevent losing the child before term.
Basically is education. If you educate the audience, educate the niche audience about what's going on in that community, they can do some more preventive maintenance to where they can raise those numbers up.
And so being that this is that awareness month, we will be doing that. We will be able to give that awareness to let people know what it is that they can do about the information. Because a lot of times people give information, they say, okay, well, what am I supposed to do with this? Why are you telling me this? What can I do about it? And I like that the March of Dimes is also going into prenatal care methods, what to do about that, and also the disparities of race and how that is a big discrepancies. And there's quotes, and we'll have to go over those quotes in the next episode, hearing from the different doctors who see the greater disparity as far as with African American. They said it's so alarming that something has to be done about it. And so we want to make you aware, being that this is the month, to be aware of that. And then after the break, we want to be able to talk about the Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month, which is this November, this month, and also the diabetes awareness this month as well, and Alzheimer's. So you are watching ONME Sunday Mornings. We'll be right back.
This is important news for women using birth control medications and devices. If you or a loved one have been diagnosed with a pseudotumor after using one of these birth control drugs or devices, you may be eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Contact the law firm of Davis & Crump right now if you or a loved one have used one of these birth control medications or devices and were diagnosed with a pseudotumor to see if you are eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Call now. Operators are standing by.
When you have credit card debt, the debt suckers' high rate and high pay are everywhere.
Ooh, they're making another minimum payment. Great. Most of the money goes to us. We'll suck the life out of them.
Because your credit card rates are so high, you can't get rid of the debt suckers alone.
Their minimum payments are in vain. No, that's juicy.
But one call to Consolidated Credit can get the debt suckers off your neck.
Thank you for calling Consolidated Credit.
Oh no, they'll lower his rates and consolidate his bills into one low payment. He'd pay off his debt in no time. Consolidated Credit drives us batty.
Call Consolidated Credit now. Call now and get your life back.
Oh, because debt sucks.
Call now.
Call Consolidated Credit at 1-800-810-0786. That's 1-800-810-0786. Call now.
Welcome back to ONME Sunday Mornings. We were just talking about those different awareness months, of this month, actually, November, and what people should be aware of. And we happened to pick the top one. There were a lot of them when you went down the list.
It was quite a few, and it was so much, but we had to pick the one right now that's most affecting the African American community, was a national Alzheimer's awareness, and diabetes awareness, and pancreatic cancer.
My mother died of pancreatic cancer, at the age of 50. And so when they look at how the risk is supposed to be 15 above, I'm thinking she's one of those statistics that ended up dying from pancreatic cancer. And pancreatic cancer, although they're saying that smoking might have something to do with it as well as drinking, my mother was neither of those. She definitely wasn't a smoker. I'm allergic to smoke, and there was no cigarette smoke like that in the house. And also looking at other causes, they're still not quite sure, but the biggest thing that people need to know is that African Americans have a slightly higher risk of pancreatic cancer than Caucasians, and the rates are also higher in some of those industrial countries such as Japan and also Western European countries. And it's very uncommon for it to be under the age of 50, and usually it's between the ages of 60 to 80. And there have been some studies showing that prior radiation, diabetes, and pancreatitis, poor nutrition, occupational exposures that increase the risk, but are not definite causes of pancreatic cancer.
Yes, I noticed some friends that also passed away with pancreatic cancer, and they was dealing with stress. A lot of it is a lot of stress, overworking, and not healthy eating. That's what they attest to it. So nutrition is a plus, and find out from your doctor where you at and how you can better take care of yourself.
I do know that poor nutrition has a lot to do with it, even those diets. I do remember my mom drinking those diet sodas, like the Tab, and back in the day we know that those were high, like the NutraSweets and some of those sweeteners that are not natural that can be very bad for you. And I really think that had a lot to do with it, because I remember that was the key thing to drink versus water back in the day in the early 80s. That's what it was, drinking those Tab drinks.
Yeah, a lot of us out there in the audience say, well, that ain't gonna happen to me, or I'm just gonna drink, I'm gonna live the lifestyle that I want to live. But you really want to preserve and look at what you're eating and look at your health and take care of yourself.
Yeah, that really means the sugar in the soda. We never realized how that's all linked to everything, from Alzheimer's to diabetes to the different cancers, looking at the sugars that we eat or the sodas. And I know in the black community, we do have a problem when we're talking about nutrition. Looking at what the slave diet used to be, I call, because when we look at the chitlins and the pork, a lot of people that can't get away from that even today. Those are delicatessens, I understand that, but moderation is going to be the key if we're going to start looking at health and ways to combat these diseases.
Well, a lot of friends also, they just eat fried food, just eat, or just go and get the $1 menu at the McDonald's, and that'll be their diet for a whole week. They just get $1 million fries and a hamburger or whatever. You can only have so much of that. You can only have so much of sodas and sugary drinks, etc. and so forth. So you have to find other ways to better take care of your body.
So we're going to be talking more about that this month as well. Meanwhile, of course, looking at, according to Alzheimer's Association, Alzheimer's disease, these are the facts and figures report, older African Americans are about twice as likely to have Alzheimer's and other dementias as older whites, and Hispanics are about 1.5 times as likely to have Alzheimer's and other dementias as older whites. So every heartbeat pumps out 1/5 of blood to the brain. Brain cells need oxygen and nutrients. And so the conditions that damage the heart and blood vessels, such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes, can also interfere with the brain's vital supply lines. So we're seeing health plays a major role once again.
Wow. Is there any area where African Americans is not so high? I want us to be high in other areas than the mortality rate here in other areas. But yes,
we're standing in front of a hospital, so we're telling people it's an emergency. Emergency.
So we have to be more conscious. It's just educated on what's going on in our communities, so we can let others that's younger than us, and also just be aware of what's happening to our bodies and what's happening in our community.
And we will be, over the next few weeks, again, going over those numbers, what to watch as far as your blood pressure, blood sugar, and so forth. And the last one we just want to touch on, which is so important and germane, we're looking at 30 million Americans that are affected by diabetes, and 86 million Americans are affected by pre-diabetes. African American has 13.2% higher rate. And so they're finding that, again, we've got some issues. So, again, this is American Diabetes Month. November is for that. And so we want to be addressing those issues when we're looking at the risk factors, and we're looking at children that are also affected. And so this has been pretty much our health episode, making people aware.
Just making them aware, and those out there sitting in the audience that may have diabetes, that's looking at us, they might say, I'm glad that they're talking about this right now. Somebody need to make our community aware. If I would have been aware earlier, I may have did something to prevent this diabetes that's happening in my body right now. So I'm thankful.
And so those are some things we're going to be talking about over the next few weeks as you watch ONME Sunday Mornings, and we want you to be tuned and aware and know what to do about it. No sense in telling you about a problem or issue or situation if you can't do anything about it or you don't know those right resources. And you can also look at some of those resources on our website at myonme.com. That's myonme.com. And we want to thank you for watching this episode of ONME Sunday Mornings. We have more in store for you over the next couple weeks. Have a great week.
Thank you.